Our story begins with the man being burned in the public square. And for us to understand how it all started, we need to go back. A few years ago, when he met with the queen, she asked him to defeat the Dragon Queen. And if he did that, they could get married. It was at that moment that everything began. An incredible battle began in the sky and on the ground. With great difficulty, he still managed to deliver the final blow to the Dragon Queen. Let's fight here. Apparently, it was doomed to failure. It was somehow defeated thanks to him. Or was it from that moment that everything fell apart? A few days later, people comment that Clem has a promising future. He alone defeated the Dragon Queen, and the Queen approaches him, wishing to toast to the victor. He eagerly grabs the cup, saying that he worked hard solely for his reward. The Queen hasn't forgotten what she promised, but there is still another condition. If he drinks all of this, his dream will become reality. And he, without wasting time, downs it all. Out of nowhere, his entire body starts to go limp. Damn, what was in that drink? Did she pick up the cup from the floor so no one would suspect while he was groaning in pain? Now the banquet hall is swarmed by royal guards, saying that Clem incited a rebellion. And now he is being surrounded. But some guards loyal to Clem protested. After all, the captain would never do such a thing. But unfortunately, he was prevented from getting close by other guards. The queen raises the sword, saying that Glenn's crimes have been judged, and anyone who protects him will be considered a traitor. Poor thing, a loyal servant now betrayed. A friend of his also goes into shock, and that guy's enemies go into a frenzy. It was at that moment he realized where he had gone wrong. Turning into crackling, in the middle of that public square bonfire, he began to shout that she said he had incited a rebellion, and he was a rebel. Belled. Many people threw stones and vegetables, telling him to die already. You pathetic presumptuous, thinking you were a knight. But his last words are that he will destroy this whole world. Rotten, and so Clen was consumed by the flames until nothing was left. Then a few days pass. There is the altar where Clen was burned. Now only ashes remain from the flames. A hooded woman approaches, and she seems to know that our Clen was deceived and was corrupted by dreams. But the reasons don't matter. The era of magical devices is coming soon. Then she begins to cast her spell, and she will give our hero one more chance. To choose once again, a power descends from the heavens containing Clen's soul. And he returns once more with his last words, still in his mouth, that he himself will destroy that world. These are the words that Witch wanted to hear while Clen is recovering. But for us to better understand this story, we need to go back 3 years ago. And there he is, extremely bored, watching everyone from the top of a roof. Suddenly, he realizes it's time to disinvest, and he jumps down, telling them not to run away. The gentlemen are wanting all the people's weapons. Unfortunately, there, no one wants to be killed, so everyone hands over their weapons. One of the guards sees a child and notices she has a very beautiful sword. But the child doesn't want to give up the sword after all. That one, it's a relic from her mother, and it's not worth much money. The guy draws his sword and orders her to be quiet and hand it over. If she doesn't want to hand it over, she will die. Now, she closes her eyes, thinking she's going to die now because she won't give up anything. The guy makes the first cut without mercy, but someone interrupts him. Who dares to interrupt an execution? There he is. Is it the master? Everyone is happy to see that Shirou is there to punish those filthy knights. Everyone is saved. The guard starts pointing his finger at his face, calling him a bum. After all, they're just doing their job, and that guy is messing everything up. The guards now go after him. 4 against 1. He jumps from there, already taking down 3. Now, only the last one is left. He's coming with blood in his eyes, trying to kill him. But Clay doesn't even draw his sword. He goes with bare hands. That guy is stealing everyone's weapons. For fragments of magical devices? That's right. He holds the knight's hand with just one hand. But the knight has a second weapon. But Clay is smarter. He kicks the guy right in the middle of his groin, breaking everything. Damn, what pain. The guy is groaning there on the ground. And then Clay grabs his head and tells him to leave. Everything, including his armor. Otherwise, maybe he won't be able to live as a man anymore, if you know what I mean. All the guards there start running now naked, without armor. The guys tried to collect the others' weapons and lost their own weapons. This is gonna get worse. The girl thanks him for the smell, but he says there's no need to thank anyone after all. He's just a thief, a Robin Hood. He starts shouting, saying that everything those guards left behind belongs to the people. So, go and take it. Everyone gets quite excited, shouting Shirou's name except for the guard. He promises his revenge on Shirou. Well, as night falls, our boy is getting more and more bored. Even though he has become a thief, he gains respect from many people. And there she is, asking if he is really bored, that he doesn't care at all about reputation. All that remains for him is to have a little fun. She approaches, wondering how the strongest knight who once galloped across battlefields became so esteemed among common people. He thrusts the dagger into the wood and asks if she's joking. But she's not joking because this guy was considered the king of knights. He removes his mask and also won't find it strange if someone mocks him now. Just because of an induced crime, a judged betrayal. He is there in that way now. But she tries to console him. After all, he is still alive. As long as he is alive, there is still a chance. Why did this girl save him? What is Mercedes' objective? Does she really need an objective? Or is she having fun? Watching someone fight against their own destiny? She embraces him, saying that maybe she is destined for him too. So it's a luxurious action. In Linden Castle, on the property of Count Eisen, the guard tries to explain to the lord, saying that guy was too strong. The guy goes crazy and demands silence. They couldn't handle a mere thief knight. The guard asks for forgiveness. While the concubines are dying of laughter, the lord stands up, saying he gave that guy several opportunities, but every time he disappoints him. He not only failed to find the treasure, but also broke the violet flaming sword. What should he do now? The guy asks for one more chance, but that lord has already given him many opportunities. This time, he is completely disappointed. He calls two guards, Raina and Barza, and plots a trap to capture Shirou alive. And look at that, the captain of the knights is now demoted to a mere soldier serving those two. Then, a few days pass. An ancient prophecy said that gathering all the fragments of the violet flame blade will bring a great disaster. But our hero doesn't care at all. Does she really think he became a thief for justice? He wouldn't do something so foolish. Suddenly, they realize something is happening down below. These guards never learn. Even if they beat these guys up, they would come back the next day. And it seems that this time they came prepared. Who cares? He goes there and will finish off everyone. The guy already uses the power of the Knight Sovereign and throws a punch, breaking everything, tormenting everyone there. What is this guy doing? Destroying the house he worked so hard to build? The guy orders everyone to hand over everything of value. These are the orders of the lord of that city. Otherwise, they will show no mercy. An old man didn't want to hand it over quickly, so the guy decided to hurry him up by kicking him right in the mouth. These guys are getting worse every day. Some people start shouting for Shirou's help while the old man's head is being crushed. He screams, "Please forgive me." But in his head, he keeps asking himself why. Why is he doing such filthy things like this? Again? Out of nowhere, look who arrived with a punch right in the middle of the face. Oh boy, the punch was weak. The guy only flew about 5 meters. An old man thanks Shirou. He was really waiting for him, but one of the guards also got excited. So this is Shirou? But the guy doesn't want much conversation. He comes in with a right punch, full force. And it stopped with just a single finger from Shirou. The guy can't believe he attacked with his full power. Even the people who were around disappeared. How can this guy stop a power with just one finger? But the guy says that Shirou won't escape now. Got you. He grabs Shirou's arm, and this time everyone goes after him. But Shirou still has tricks up his sleeve. He activates a strange power from his finger, and the guy is in disbelief seeing that power. Rising, Shirou just says that this is truly the Sovereign's attack. And he unleashes that power on the ground, which starts breaking everything, throwing all the guards away. The guy doesn't understand what kind of power Shirou is using. Shirou gets closer to the guy, grabs his hair, and asks him if he's surprised. After all, he also knows how to handle power, much better than he does. Who is this guy? But Shirou tells him to shut up and asks who the boss is, under whose orders he received now. Why is he looting the city? Suddenly, the guy starts to stutter, as if I would tell you. But Shirou removes his mask, saying that then he will tell who he is. He is a man much more demonic than his boss. He shows his completely burned face for that guy to see. In one eye, a little red. The guy tries to break free, but he can't. He grits his teeth. The first thing Shirou says when he gets closer is that if he doesn't answer his questions, he will start by killing his parents, then his wife, and then the whole family. And then he will start by tearing a strip of his skin and giving his flesh to the abandoned dogs. Oh, he's serious. Now, he decided to tell everything. That Count, Eisen, is looking for the fragments of the magical tool. Precisely the fragments of the violet flame blade. He asks if they found any other object besides that one. And the guy says no. A smell releases all the men, saying that if they return there, their whole family will die. Yes, my dear friends, the peace of that city will not last long. Then, sometime later, we return to Count Aizun's castle. Some people around are commenting that a guy appeared making the burakatas fall from their positions. And others comment that that guy looks like a chivalrous thief. And some even say that that guy is pissing on the count's head. Among them, there is a hooded guy who appears to be Shirou's younger brother. While our hero parades through the streets, Count Eisen is going to be his prey today. But suddenly someone calls out, calling him brother. Finally, I found you. Wow, it's a girl and she immediately jumps in. And this family is very strong. The fall was phenomenal. She got up quickly, embracing her brother, feeling very nostalgic. But he looks at her and asks, "Who the hell are you? Are you trying to provoke a man with a good heart in broad daylight?" But she says she is the knight Genia Carol. She heard that brother Zongqi needed help, so she came back here. But he has no idea who this girl is and tells her to go back home. Then she makes a crying face, saying that he is so cruel, but also quite cute, already getting on his nerves. But he throws her away, telling her to disappear from there. Damn, what a strange girl. Suddenly she's clinging to his legs, saying she's going to become a night thief just like him. While everyone is watching that commotion, she can't just go around telling everyone she's going to become a night thief, right? Can she? Due to her persistence, he had no options and let her follow him. They went to an alley and only then was he able to get free from her. And she tells him that there's something she has recently developed. And if he smells it, he won't be able to eat for 3 whole days. Oh my, what a stinky lotion. Her situation is critical, and he looks quite interested. It seems like this liquid is quite amusing. What could it be? So it's decided. Today, he will take that girl along and teach her how to have fun like a night thief. Today's fun is exterminating villains. Now she is quite cheerful. Today's mission is to go after Count Eisen. While at the mansion, the guy is furious, ordering everyone to move quickly. It's over, that smell wasn't caught. And they also lost the blade fragments. Violent flame? Now that lord is in trouble and his boss, the queen, will never forgive him. It's all the smell's fault. But before the smell, it's also the guard's fault. They can't catch a single thief, but suddenly a guard enters, calling Lord Aizun, saying that someone is invading his property. Look, it's a young woman who is beating everyone up, throwing a smelly liquid on everyone. No one can stand that girl. Everyone is collapsing. So it means there's a brat causing trouble on his property, right? He's going to teach her a lesson, but suddenly someone breaks the skylight and enters the hall. There is our boy Shirou with blood in his veins and his eyes shining. The Lord seems to know that wow, and he immediately draws his dagger. But Shirou doesn't say anything. He charges at the old man. He grabs the old man's neck, lifts him with one hand, and smashes his back against the wall. Today is the day that Lord won't escape. The guy tries to use a speech saying they can talk with Shirou, while he's just trying to buy time for more guards to arrive. But Shirou notices the strategy. The girl back there sending several guards into a forced sleep, but in a completely different way. She throws that thick and stinky liquid at the guards, impregnating the entire room. That object smells so bad that everyone there loses the will to fight immediately, and some even start to vomit. While Shirou uses the knight's power, the girl doesn't understand why these guys are always chasing people like them. Now he has no way out, and the only thing he has to do is talk about the magic weapon, Shirou. Anyway, Kardaga, to make sure that guy will be caught. Maybe if he is a bit more convincing, he will feel like talking. But the guy just says he will talk. He better stop. Shirou takes a look and senses the danger. A guy lurks at the window and throws a dart. Shirou dodges the dart and it hits the Lord directly. The Lord screams in pain, and now turning purple. It looks like that guy is going to explode. A poisoned dart? Shirou, you let your guard down. Shirou tries to chase the guy, but it's in vain. The guy has already disappeared without leaving a single trace. The Lord is there on the ground, getting worse and worse. It seems like he's going to die, but the two don't feel sorry for him. The only pity they have is for the information he had. After everything you've done, this is the payment you get. What a pathetic end. The old man has already passed away. Sometime later, not far from there, a guy sitting on his throne asks if everything went well. The guy says yes, the poisoning was done by him. That guy must be dead for sure. But the guy on the throne is worried after all. Shirou took the fragments. And now he will have to make a move. The guy just says that 2 of the remnants and Shirou have won. He will go after it. For sure he will go after the guy, so he makes a proposal. If you kill Shirou and collect all the fragments, you will unlock the divine power within the magic weapon. This will make you the strongest in the world. That guy will become the god of that world and everyone will tremble. The guy smiles and says he will finish everyone off in time. Later, the people who were oppressed by the Baron are invading his mansion. After all, the dead don't need fortune. While people fight downstairs over the sack, our protagonist watches from above. Does he feel a bit relieved watching this scene? Yeah, he doesn't think it's so bad. After all, when a piece of trash falls, it even improves his mood a bit. And we return to the warrior with tactics, somewhat smelly ones. She celebrates because, after all, this was her first mission with Shirou. He hugs her and says that from now on, it's going to be even more fun. And look who's got Silminho since she's getting too close to Shirou. The people behind him aren't going to feel good, right? But the girl doesn't feel shaken. She says that the more enemies there are, the more fun it will be. Soon, that city will be all stained with blood, eh? But until that happens, the news spreads about the thief. Indeed, Shirou killed Aisha. Everyone is praising this guy. Look, Mr. Cain invited the righteous thief to a meeting in 2 days. That guy was invited to have dinner with Mr. Cain. Wow, he's really popular, huh? But Shirou isn't foolish. He knows it might be a trap, but the girl doesn't care. Maybe they can have a little more fun there. Then, sometime later, in the castle, precisely in the darkest depths of the castle tower, the guy observes the warrior Aisha. 4 years have passed, and he still finds her as beautiful. As ever. Yeah, I think she's pretty, too. But the guy arrives interrupting Lord Cain, saying that the message was delivered, but whether he will come or not, they are not sure. The guy knows that guy is arrogant. Even knowing about the trap, he is sure that guy will come. He observes his skull, saying that coming is one thing, returning is another. As he says this, he crushes the skull in his hands. The guy is ripped, huh? What will his abilities be? The guy says that guy is very skilled, and it's going to be very difficult to destroy him using conventional methods. This guy is underestimating the master. Did the master really just set a trap for him? He then decides to give a demonstration of power to his subordinate, summoning the Flame of the Lion's Wrath. On his pet, the guy is in shock. Yes, that is the newest experimental creation made using the 6th hedgehog. That is a power born from the synchronization of the common flame lion and the violet flame blade hedgehog. Now, his subordinate understands the magnitude of the violet blade's power. With just one hedgehog or piece, all that guy wants is to gather all the pieces. That way they can destroy everyone. Thus, his and her dream will become reality. But unfortunately, his armada is not there to witness his victory. No, fortunately, 2 days pass and people are commenting, will Shirou really go there? Others say he's really there, and there he is. Shirou looks. The girl is even carrying a flag to announce his arrival. The guy welcomes our hero with open arms. Ah, dear righteous thief Shirou. He will never forget the achievements he brings. Back at Lime Castle, Shirou feels honored to be recognized by Cain. As he climbs the stairs, Cain says that the names of those who work hard will be remembered, but with a smile. Valiant. He says he will guide Lime Castle into the future. Better together? His together is quite separate, isn't it? And he says that food and drink are on the house. So, already inside that luxurious castle, the guy said that pork is the castle's specialty. It's for him to eat well. Our hero was poisoned once. Will he be poisoned again? He thanks for the offer and says he's already well fed, but the girl doesn't waste any time. She immediately says she's going to eat everything, and Shirou stops her and the guy. Now it becomes clear that Shirou doesn't completely trust him or the future he talks about, but Shirou skips the words and gets straight to the point. He knows all the methods he used after seeing Aisha dead. The warriors are shocked and try to interrupt the conversation, but the master silences them. So, why did you come, Shirou? Shirou, all relaxed, says he came just to find out what this guy is for, looking at his dagger. Then suddenly an attack comes from behind, sneaky and cowardly, but it is intercepted by the girl. She won't let anyone get hurt. Shirou, defended with a plate. Ah, is the action over? The guy thinks Shirou is quite arrogant, doesn't take it personally, and orders everyone to get him. The guards charge at him while he remains completely relaxed, but Shirou uses the knight's power. Emperor's attack and repels all the guards at once, completely ruining the dinner atmosphere. Even the boss had to protect himself to avoid being swept away. Shirou removes his mask, revealing his true face. He smiles and begins to unleash his power. The guy is shocked. Is he really going to use that? Then he starts speaking to his dormant beast to awaken, and a huge magic circle appears. And there it is, the lion from before against Shirou. Made from just a fragment, Shirou is now impressed by the size of this monster, so since Shirou got there by his own will into the trap, "Do you really think you're going to leave now?" And he shouts, sending the lion's flame of wrath towards Shirou. The lion charges with full force, but Shirou grabs his dagger and says that he is so naive. The lion stomps on him but narrowly misses as he manages to dodge. Then the monster releases a burst of fire that hits him squarely, throwing him far away with tremendous speed. All the guards there say that the victory belongs to Lord Cain, but Lord Cain walks, getting closer and closer to the smoke, saying that, "Shirou, if you want to blame someone, blame yourself for underestimating your abilities and challenging him." But amidst the rubble, Shirou emerges saying that this is all interesting. The guy can't believe that this guy is still alive, but there he is, saying that it's been a long time since he had so much fun. So, this guy has a high-level beast, but the Lord is not playing around. He shouts, commanding that monster to kill Shirou. Shirou finds all of this ridiculous. The beast makes a huge leap towards Shirou, and he prepares to counterattack. Unfortunately, he is too good. He punches the monster right in the abdomen, saying that he is too good. At Hunting Beast, the monster is thrown far away and crashes into the wall. Our Lord is thinking that he is going to lose to this guy. Then he begins to exude the power of the cycle of life, a strange power, full of skulls and souls, forming a vortex. Those souls begin to try to trap Shirou by wrapping around his entire body. The guy, our villain, tells Shirou that those ghosts won't leave until they drain all his life. Once they latch onto him, it's over. This is his end, but Shirou chuckles. Still trying to break free from the ghosts, the guy clenches his hands, thinking this will be his final attack. But suddenly, those ghosts all begin to dissipate. Wow, how is this possible? The guy is in shock. Shirou jumps towards him, saying that he is very weak and punches him right in the face, sending him flying to get closer to his beast. The captain doesn't understand why someone with such strength fights to protect ordinary people. But Shirou asks, why? Why did the ghosts leave him? Because he is also a ghost. But unlike the others, he is a much stronger ghost and runs towards that guy, now with a clenched fist, activating the Emperor's attack, the power of a knight, and the guy commands his beast to attack again. She jumped at Shirou, but Shirou just punches her and she falls again. The guy, realizing he can't handle it, starts to run away, but do you think Shirou will really let him escape? But before Shirou can go after that guy, the beast is already gathering power in its mouth. She unleashes that power at Shirou and he manages to defend himself using only his fist, splitting the power in two. Yeah, it seems like he'll have to deal with this creature first before going after the boss. The guy outside keeps wondering who this guy could be. He is very strong. Suddenly that castle starts to be completely destroyed. While he says that guy is in quite a hurry, huh? Wait for me, I'm on my way. The big lion was already down on the ground. People recognize Lord Cain. Did Shirou really take down this guy? The master hears all that nonsense and is not pleased at all. He calls everyone trash and starts activating his ghost abilities, sending them against everyone. The ghosts begin to capture the inhabitants of that city. Those ghosts start draining everyone's life energy, but Shirou quickly arrives, cutting down all those wandering souls. But unfortunately, there are more people for him to help, while the guy smiles, saying he intends to be justice. So, naturally, he cannot ignore this scene. The guy keeps running while Shirou chases after him, saying he is a ghost returned from hell, and life or death are only for ordinary people. And he jumps, saying he doesn't care about anyone. The guy defends against Shirou's attack, but the strike was so strong that his sword started to break. Suddenly, the sword shatters into several pieces, and the impact of the blow is so strong that it throws a lord far away, crashing into the wall. And before he can realize it, the sword is already at his throat. Yeah, it seems they had a fun fight. But it ends there. Then Shirou realizes that someone is coming. He makes a quick turn to dodge the darts and then manages to evade the dagger attack. The hooded guy smiles, releasing several chains towards Shirou. A surprise attack. The villain manages to escape. While Shirou is tied up amidst the chains, not understanding what kind of attack this is, already in the basement of Lin Castle, our villain is there, pondering what he should do with Aisha. What could he do to have her in his arms again? Then he begins to gather power and a magic circle forms at his feet. That tank starts to crack everything. As he says Aisha's name, suddenly it breaks and she falls into his arms. While he says he will fulfill her dream, he embraces Aisha in his arms and begins to emit a terrifying pressure. Meanwhile, our MC is trying to free himself from the chains. He uses all his strength and manages to break everything. but he keeps wondering who is this guy with the chains. Then, out of nowhere, he feels a terrifying presence. Realizing that the city is about to collapse, everything starts to shake. The city begins to be completely destroyed. People start running and buildings begin to fall. One of the houses starts to fall on a child, but Shirou runs and manages to protect her. He punches the building and throws it away. Wow, what a strong guy. And there's that Cain again. That guy must be preparing something, but a little further away. From there, the guards are saying that Mr. Cain is going to give them a reward, but they still haven't managed to catch Shirou. Even so, they want a reward. So they arrive at a place. The masked man is there saying that Mr. Cain is waiting for this guy, and it's Shirou. He's too strong. This smells fishy to me because they didn't manage to do the job. And now there's a reward? The guy says that no one can handle Shirou. So they are going to make preparations to leave the castle. And the master is going to distribute his fortune to everyone. Oh, how generous, huh? Everyone starts laughing, saying they're rich. They enter the room, apologizing for making the master wait. Suddenly, they receive their reward. They are surprised by a terrifying being that suddenly attacks them. And now it begins to drain their entire soul. Their vital energy is being completely drained. The monster roars, absorbing all the energy from those guards. The attack is so violent that the guy's body, with each passing second, becomes older and older. And when there's nothing left, they are cast aside. The monster makes a hole in the ceiling and passes through, emerging. Now, walking towards the city. There it is, roaring, preparing to capture all the city's inhabitants. But look, just that monster is not alone. The guy with the chains is right behind him, saying that humans are foolish creatures. Pitiful, aren't they? But pity is something this guy doesn't have. He orders the creature to capture all the humans, and the creature obeys. And with its tentacles, it begins to suck all the life energy from those villagers there. With a single swipe, it already caught 5. Shirou arrives quickly and cuts the monster's tentacle. And he managed to save even a few people. The Rouge monster, now furious at Shirou. Damn, even he hadn't seen a creature as big as this one. The girl appears, saying that a magical warrior. Even though defective, he absorbs the power and compensates for the damaged parts of the magical device. The girl says that it's not a scapegoat animal of Cain, but Cain himself. He synchronized the beacon of the violet flame blade and ended up like this. That lord has now turned into this monster and has fallen so low for power. The monster continues roaring and breaking everything. But Shirou is determined. He grabs his sword, and when the monster charges, he dodges. Apparently, that guy is looking for a fragment of the violet flame embedded in him. He's trying to use it to restore his power for sure, but Shirou won't let that happen. He prepares by imbuing his blade with flames and uses the powerful Demon King's ability to launch a slash at the monster. Even though the monster is large, it is thrown far away, and before it can get up, Shirou is already in the air, ready to plunge his sword into it. But the monster is not foolish and uses a vortex of magical power from its mouth at Shirou. That power hits Shirou hard and throws him far away, but Shirou stops, saying that the monster isn't so bad. Suddenly the monster starts to flee. It seems that the fight drained a lot of its energy, but Shirou won't let that monster escape. And at the Mikiro's church, the girl is on top of the lion, saying that they managed to get a good catch. Suddenly, she senses danger, but she can't dodge it. The monster attacks her and the power hits her directly. It went there to get 2 more fragments that were in that fallen beast. Using one of its tentacles, it manages to grab the fragment. Inside the monster's heart, 2 more and he will be free. But out of nowhere, his head starts to hurt, and he feels his whole body strange. He touches his head and asks who the hell he is. It's better to get out of his body. The strange being says that after he got a body, do you really think he's gonna leave? No chance of that happening. Then, another head emerges, telling him to relinquish his body peacefully. But the guy thinks this might be a dream. Suddenly, Shirou appears running and severs one of the monster's arms with incredible speed, looks at him and asks him to die. The monster, clutching the dead lion's heart, says that Shirou is really strong, but unfortunately, his fun ends there. Today, he then starts to crush that heart and begins to absorb all the power of the fragment contained within it. Wow, Shirou is in disbelief about what's happening. The absorption of power is so immense that it destroys the entire church, as if it were a bomb. Amidst the smoke, a figure appears smiling. That horrifying being says that the feeling of ruling this world again is the best. Wow, how is Shirou going to deal with this creature now? Wow, that guy turned into a monster and then the monster turned into him. Damn, look at the size of that monster. Could it really still be that guy? But he starts saying that he's back in this world. So does that mean he's, not Cain? And if he's not Cain, who is he? The guy says it doesn't matter who he is. After all, he's going to die there and starts using the magic technique. A gigantic explosion comes out of his body, and from it, several heads now form like a hydra, the Antagonia formation. The heads head towards the clan, but our boy manages to dodge. Even though our boy is very strong, those heads are very fast. The situation is getting complicated for him. The monsters don't give him any time to recover. Still in the air, all the heads fly towards him, and he uses the Demon King's power, the Slash. That power heads towards all the heads, causing a huge explosion felt throughout the region. But before he can escape, the monster is already above him, preparing to deliver the final blow. The guy was so fast that he punched Clen, making him fall to the ground, breaking everything there. But our hero is not going to give up easily. He watches that monster as it jumps to try to crush him. Now, Clen uses the power of the knights, activating a magical barrier. The monster calls him a fool and continues throwing several punches at Clen's shield. The shield starts to crack everything, and Clen is thrown backward when the shield breaks. That monster is on another level. The guy went bouncing several meters. He only stopped after hitting a wall. Now the lady appeared, saying that the strongest sacred knight is in such a terrible state. Clen doesn't know who this guy is, but he knows that he is very strong. The monster asks, who is this woman? And if she is wishing for death just like him. She casts a magic circle and says that he knows brute force is not always justice. Following that, destiny is the quickest path to victory. Suddenly, the monster has a premonition and observes a magic circle forming in front of him. That circle begins to weave several threads completely wrapping around his original body, while he thinks that even if he becomes a puppet and disappears from people's memories, he still cannot accept this end. He still remembers his dream. His dream was to become the strongest man in that world, to marry his beloved. One of the bitter memories of his life comes to his mind. Bandits were trying to harm his beloved, and he protected her with his own body while saying he would never let anyone harm her. So that's how he decided to make his own name and build his own empire. That guy cannot forget, while the girl says he promised he would do everything to reach the top and build his empire. And he starts sweating, saying that no one will get in his way, but inevitably he is still a puppet. The monster asks if that's all he can do. After all this time, the Lord tries to regain his body, and the monster form is increasingly failing. That guy should be sleeping. Why is he awake? Is he definitely challenging a god? He starts shouting, telling that monster to get out of his body. After all, it's in his way. While Clen watches from afar, the girl says she just touched the strings of fate a little. The rest is up to Clen. The fight is intense between the Lord and the monster, as the monster says it will give him a little more pain. But Clen is determined, and he won't lose this fight easily. And he wants to fully regain control of his own body. And the girl is already at her limit and decides to finish this as quickly as possible, while Clen asks what they should do. Basically, if they can synchronize the blade pieces he has with the ones there, they will be able to win. So, alright, Clen will be able to defeat this monster. Suddenly, he tries to grab one of the fragments that were with him, and where's my brother? Only now did he realize that one of the fragments disappeared. Look, there it is, inside that dagger, amidst the debris. Meanwhile, the Lord continues to struggle to gain control of his body, but it seems inevitable. He is being consumed by the flames, while the monster says that this fight ends here and now. Let's move on to what really matters. While the Lord is consumed by the flames of evil within his own body, that monster continues destroying the city as it fights with full force against our protagonist. Suddenly, the monster leaps, and Clen wonders where that bastard went. But out of nowhere, the monster is in front of him, saying that despicable human doesn't understand what it's like to be asleep for millennia. He punches Clen, but Clen manages to defend himself by activating his barrier. He keeps hitting, saying that Clen will taste despair. But unfortunately, his barrier cannot withstand the overwhelming power of that monster and breaks, hitting him squarely. Our hero, Clay, is thrown far away, and the monster approaches closer, slowly, saying that a mere human will never understand the wrath of a god. Clem stands up, saying that the monster is wrong, that he is not human, at least not anymore. So what is that guy? He begins to gather power in his hand and says that he is a wandering soul in that world. He now activates the mastership, the power of the knights, and the monster begins to go into shock. Suddenly, Clem is already on its back. The monster tries to retaliate, and Clem strikes, but it defends with its arm. That guy has so many different techniques, but all are in vain. The impact of the strike combined with the monster's defense throws Clay far away. He needs to end this battle quickly because he is at a disadvantage. While he wonders where the fragment went, he uses a magical power to locate the dagger and manages to sense the distance to where it is. He runs to grab it while the monster tries to locate him as well. And finally, the monster found him. Thinking that Clay is trying to escape, suddenly he notices that there is the violet flame blade and his eyes light up as well. He decides to run too. After all, he can't let the last piece be taken. And when Clay goes to grab the dagger all happy, the monster appears so quickly that he can barely perceive all that speed. The monster just pushes him aside with its arm, sending him out of the way. But look how incredible. He just pushed Clay and Clay went forcefully into the wall. Now Clen is upset but all broken on the ground. The monster with the dagger in its hands says that this is the last fragment. Now it's really over. He got the last fragment, so the monster makes a huge leap and starts to distance itself from Clen. The situation is critical for our hero. 3,000 years. Finally, he has regained his true power. The whole world will bow before him. Clen tries to stop the monster, but still without success. Then a little further away, in Land Castle, precisely in the basement, that woman appears saying that destiny begins and ends at the same Aussie point. She starts to activate a power and says that this world shines for those who are obsessive. The monster realizes that something strange is happening. Then the Lord's soul begins to be burned by a purple fire. Now, while he says that no one will interfere with his dream, he starts to shout determinedly, but the entity in his body screams that it will defeat this despicable human. Suddenly, Clay also appears, saying that he won't let him do as he pleases. The monster says that everything will end there and punches the monster, but the monster manages to defend again once the synchronization is complete. He will be the first to die. Suddenly, the monster notices that it's not fighting against one, but against two. I think it's with three, my brother, he shouts, while the Lord also screams, trying to free his body. The Lord managed to dominate half of the body already while the monster tries to dominate and take back that half. Lord Cain says that trying to steal his own body is equivalent to 1,000 deaths. Then the part he controls starts, trying to strangle him while the other part tries to break free. Meanwhile, Clen notices all this chaos unfolding. This is the perfect opportunity for him. While fighting that monster, Clen has vague memories of his many motives and his struggles while he was alive. In a freezing winter, while he was still serving the queen, she said that the knight wearing the armor of glory will fight for the peace of his people for the rest of her life as queen. Is this guy really prepared for that? But he responds that yes, he will do anything to fulfill her ideals. And it is at this moment that he remembers he cannot break his oath and activates the knight's power. The impact of the shock from his power is so great that it drags the monster dozens of meters, but the monster is strong and managed to defend. Clem picks up the fragment on the ground and says that the monster forgot something on the ground. The monster can't believe that Clem picked up this fragment. The fragment is his. Suddenly, Lord Cain again tries to take possession of his body and punches the monster in the face again. Lord Cain, causing more confusion, tells that demon to get out of his body while the monster, it mouses B, ikinkinki, he tells him to shut up. After all, he is about to die. But our boy is also quite weak and now starts coughing. He can't believe it because he is desperate after being betrayed. We know that maybe it's because he loves Natsu, that treacherous queen. But this time, he definitely won't lose. So, now he begins to activate the violet flame blade and starts absorbing the power to change his own destiny. The massive power emerges from his body, reaching the skies, and he begins to absorb everything. The monster is in shock, observing that Clen is absorbing its little treasure, while the being remarks that it had been planning for a long time. But this guy interfered with its plans. The woman is inside, saying that she really chose the right person, while Clen is absorbing the power of the violet flame until it is completely depleted. Now his armor has transformed into a completely black and obscure form, exuding an impressive aura. Now it's over for the monster. Our boy is now tough, while the monster is there, still fighting with Lord Clen, hitting and getting hit at the same time. Clen is being burned by the monster. Even after everything he did, he can barely hold on to the logic. He manages to take control of the body for a moment, and says that the heart is the weak point. Now our hero knows how to strike the monster, and the Lord loses control of the body again, saying that he is counting on him. Our boy, now shaped with that dark armor, says he will meet all your expectations, Lord. While the monster doesn't understand how a person on the brink of death is causing so many problems, but he still has 6 shards, and Clem only has 1. And Clem is determined to see who will win? Whether it's 6 or 1, remembering when he fought with all his strength for his dream, he activates the power of the knights and moves in front of the monster, unleashing the demon's slash on the monster. But the monster says it's useless and also launches a fireball. That fireball transforms into a burst of fire, and the 2 powers collide, and everything around explodes, creating multiple explosions with shockwaves throughout the city. After all that power exchange, our boy emerges from the smoke, telling him to hold this. If he's capable, he delivers a close-range slash to the monster, and just like the last times, it defends. But now it's a sword. So the damage was much more critical, but the monster says that he is weak, a weak mortal. He will be consumed and die by this magical weapon. Glenn activates the power of his muscles and says that the monster understands nothing. He starts delivering multiple blows to the monster, saying that he came from a humble family and was very weak in the past. And if he were the type of person who gave up easily, he wouldn't have come this far, he shouts, activating a power in his hands. The monster prepares to defend, but knows that this time there has been a drastic increase in his strength and speed. While Clen says he has been carrying countless hopes and cannot die there, the impact of the blow is overwhelming on the monster. Even while defending, the impact was felt, and Clen continues delivering several punches to the monster. The power of the shock from his blows is so strong that the monster is dragged and flies far away, Bidu, from there, with such force from the blows. He clarifies the speech for him to die soon, remembering his beloved. On the day he was named a knight of her country, he returns to his original form and says that now this world will be at peace. In the city, it is still turbulent and raining heavily with thunder, but beauty still resides in this place. Our Lord now holds control over his body and the monster that inhabited it. Only the fragment remained. He watches the rain falling, quite pensive as Clem approaches. Clem asks if he is enjoying his defeat and urges him to look with his own eyes at what he has done. For the sake of just a magical weapon, he turned his own city into complete chaos. The guy tells him to shut up, saying that if it weren't for him, he wouldn't have been able to defeat him. But Clem says that if it weren't for him, this fight wouldn't even have happened. The guy stands up, still weak, and says that someone deceived him. That guy said that if he collected all the magical weapons, he would become stronger. But he never mentioned such side effects. So it was that guy with the chains. The guy says that if he doesn't die now, he might cause trouble again, to go after that guy and take revenge on him. Suddenly, the girl arrives bringing his beloved. She says they will put aside everything he did for now and borrow a bit of his power. Wow, that woman knew about his last wish. His life began with that child, so it should end with her too. He hugs her and says that even at the end, he will stay with her. My dear Aizon. Poor guy, man. It's a heavy story. Did she die? That's what it seems, right? The woman starts reciting a magic circle, saying that girl was also a victim of fate, so maybe she couldn't have helped. Clem takes the fragment and says it was all because of this, and it gave power, but it also gave greed. Here, that is the fragment of one of the 7 great weapons that has the ability to change destiny. The Blade of Violet Jama. In perfect condition, with a swing, it could easily obliterate an entire city. Clen was lucky to be able to face that monster before it managed to gather the last fragment. Suddenly, he notices that he forgot something, and there in the background a portal is opening. From that portal, chains emerge trying to grab Clen, but he dodges beautifully. The hooded figure appears again from the portal while the woman asks, "Who is he?" She goes to grab the dagger, but just as she's about to succeed, the guy runs her over. Finally, he managed to get the long-awaited dagger, but Clen arrives asking him to return it. Now, he tries to strike that guy who defends with his chain ability. Poor knight, he is certainly strong, but has he ever witnessed the power of that dagger? He says that Clen's show ends there and begins to attack him. But Clen gets angry after all, the guy is doubting his abilities, and he activates the knight's power, Domination Slash. He makes a slash and manages to cut through all those magical chains. The guy can't believe that his power is immense. It was close. Clay's power almost cut through the entire body of that guy. In fact, it seems that this guy is really a former Night King. But probably this guy no longer has power. Due to the battle with the monster, he is already completely exhausted. The hooded figure says he would like to play a little more, but his time is running out, and he opens the portal again. The woman tries to call the guy back and calls him by his name, Havis. The guy turns around, saying that it's been so long, one day she will regret having betrayed him. But she says that he will be the one to lose the most, precisely to this man whom he so despises. And he says he is quite looking forward to it. And he wants to see what kind of guy the Witch of Fate has chosen. He enters the portal saying that soon the gods will awaken. How will these foolish little humans stop them? Clen is indignant and hits the ground with his hand, lamenting his weakness. If he were a little stronger, he would have been able to handle that guy too. So that means that guy is an acquaintance of hers, let's say, in a way, yes. Now Clen got angry. If she had told him earlier, he should have been prepared. But even so, the guy hadn't taken the magical object. But the girl says that he is already a complete mess just for having faced a single magical warrior, so they start walking. A still angry Shirou says he will ignore it this time, but from now on she should provide all the information he needs. That way, he can continue defending. Suddenly the girl arrives, asking if brother Shirou is okay. I thought this crazy one was going to help, but apparently she stayed hidden. He says that as long as she is there, he won't let anyone hurt her and turns to the other, and says that tonight the conversation is going to be long. She will tell him everything she knows and she agrees as well. The other one is upset because she wanted to spend the night with him too. And Shirou just says that the next day he will have the whole day to spend with her, so she needs to give him some time to recover before they can play more. He promises that he will play with her as soon as he recovers. Then there's a bit of a wreck. A child appears saying that our hero Shirou saved everyone again. Everyone is alive thanks to their savior Shirou. But people start praising Shirou and shouting his name. He became the center of attention again. But this time, it's completely different from before. Before, he was burned at the stake, then he came back. We return to Lin Castle on Count Eizen's estate. Finally, they arrived there. That was the place where Cain synchronized with the fragment of the magical artifact. Everything was completely guided by destiny. Isn't he just a hero? He doesn't want to hear nonsense and get straight to the point. She asked to see his hand and to know his story along with it. What is this girl planning? Our hero doubts that woman, since the day he found out she's hiding things from him. But inevitably, she saved his life once, so he has no choice, right? She is now going to tell everything she knows, so the power begins and he watches closely. We are transported to a completely different era and world. There he is, Shirou, observing a dense and closed forest. What place is this, man? That is the world from 5,000 years ago where civilization had not yet developed and gods ruled over humans. Suddenly, we see someone running, asking for help, but it's a group of people. It looks like a tribe. Everyone running in behind them, and extremely large being. It was massacring everything, mixing blood with the earth with each stomp. Many people were going to the grave. While the gods were saying that it was a splendid attack, another said that this way was quite boring to play. It's more fun to crush them with the hand like this, while he crushed the humans and smiled a lot. That was the ancient, overwhelming power of the gods. Humans were nothing more than cattle. How did humans manage to defeat these giant gods? The girl says that those monsters were not defeated, only gods fought against gods. Now, I'm even more confused. Humanity has always been weak and it was impossible to defeat these gods. So, they had to persuade some gods to rebel along with them. Thus, they killed each other and the humans reaped the benefits. But there was only one human who could fight against the gods, and he was extremely cunning and strong. The people of that tribe shouted that they had arrived, bringing information. That was Havis. That's when everything started to fall apart. The gods devised strategies to deceive each other. That guy was sent by one of the gods to gather information about Hylam Island. And he discovered that Katran was researching sealing techniques. That god struck the ground with his hand, breaking everything. Who does this guy think he is? Planning to seal gods. Is that right? Why is he researching this? The guy starts saying that if he completes that sealing technique, everything will be over, so they need to strike first. Sometime later, there he is saying that Katra will pay for it with his own life. Then, that god leaves, leaving the warrior completely alone in that forest. Or almost. A guy approaches and calls him Big Brother, while he says to tell everyone that Shagnus went to kill Katran. And now it's his turn to finish this once and for all. Basically, that guy is the former Havis, challenging the gods. What a brave guy. That guy was the hero who killed dragons. Then, the fight begins on one side. One says he has been researching sealing techniques, while the other doesn't understand what he's talking about. It seems that both were manipulated, but the guy says it has nothing to do with him. Who he plans to seal is not him, but the other, blinded by rage, doesn't care about what that guy says. He clenches his fists and asks that guy to die, knowing there's no chance to talk. He tells him to come at him too. Meanwhile, lurking in the waters is Havis, activating the Hylam sealing technique. Now the gods realize that it was a trap set up for both of them. That god realizes that Havis is involved in all of this, but he doesn't have enough time to react to the other. The god delivers such a strong blow to his chest that it goes through. While the god said that Shagnus fought with him so many times that now it was time to pay. Suddenly, several golden chains appeared, and Shagnus asked if Katra was crazy for wanting to seal him. He tried to break free from the chains, but without any success, he finally fell into his trap. Shagnus tried to deactivate the sealing, but without any success. Then he was finally sealed inside a purple sword. And now that sword, which had a god sealed within it, was wielded by another god, as he looked at the sword and said that being always viewed it with such arrogance and with an extremely powerful aura. He never thought that day was so close to arriving. And the captain now asks, since they sealed it, will the other gods hold him accountable for this sin? And he, feeling the power of that sword, is not at all worried about the other gods. Testing that sword, he realizes that its power is terrifying. He managed to cut the sea and the mountains with just a swing of that sword. While the captain was left in disbelief, what kind of power is this? Now that god thinks that no one will be able to do anything against this kind of thing. After all, he already possesses the sealing technique and the power left behind. By Shagnus, the guy now understands that he is the strongest among the gods in that world. The balance of power has now been broken and no one will oppose him. So that's how it all started from the beginning. Katra set a trap and placed the sealing formation so that when Shagnus entered it, even an ordinary year could activate it. The guy ended up with the violet flame blade along with part of Shagnus's power. But what he didn't foresee was Pandora's box. Since then, the gods doubted each other and began to fight among themselves to gain even more advantage. They started using human power. That god even gave part of his power. For Havis, they created the wave of Onjulas, and as more gods were hunted, humanity's power grew each day. And in the end, humans gained enough power to kill gods. Well, it was a surprise attack, however, he succeeded, and the last words of that god were, "Havis, you son of a fruit." But Ravis longed for this day, and it had finally arrived. The day of Havis's historic victory brought humanity a future without gods. But after the defeat of the ancient gods, he sought to become the god of the new world. And from that day forward, he declared himself before all the bodies of dead gods and before humans that he was the new god. That was his destiny. Our boy wanted to know the end of this story, but it seems they were expelled. Damn, he asked to go back and she says it's not possible. Apparently that Havis must have done something with the Wheel of Destiny to prevent everyone from seeing his story. Now, did he understand what kind of enemy he is facing? A guy who can imprison gods? Then, a little further away, a hooded figure arrives speaking to the queen, who has just investigated the information about the man she is interested in. He is quite a peculiar man, and it seems that he is also watching them. The queen did not like this information at all. Then, and activated daggers controlled only by the movement of her fingers. All those daggers go towards the hooded figure, but none hit, and he just watches disgusted. She remembers that they made a promise. She helped him, so he must fulfill his promise as well. That barbaric family is something she cannot stop. And if he dares to say irrelevant things again, she will send him to hell. He asks her to calm down. After all, he just made a joke. She can't believe this guy has so much audacity. She stands up and walks slowly, saying that someday she will kill him. But he says that before that, they will imagine a beautiful future together. Oh boy, could it be that someone is also trying to get the queen. So we return to the mansion. Our hero needs to investigate more about Havis's past. Even if it cannot be shown on the Wheel of Destiny, she can still tell him more things. She stops and thinks for a moment while he says he fulfilled his promise to gather all the magical items. How is he supposed to fight without even knowing the enemy's identity? She only tells him that the Wheel of Destiny says it's not yet time to tell him. When the time comes, he will understand everything. She always avoids the conversation by talking about that Rose of Destiny. But she says that guy is just a lonely soul, and it's not worth it for him to pursue that guy so deeply. What does she mean by lonely soul? Is she talking about him too? After all, he is the same kind of existence. Sometime later, in the online cartel, there he is. enjoying his wonderful sleep, sleeping like a baby. Suddenly, that woman arrives, yelling and kicking the door. "I'm here, my big brother. I have news." Wow, what a way to wake up my brother. The guy wakes up all startled. "What is that noise? Are you crazy?" And she even went as far as opening the windows, but she didn't come alone. And she brought everyone saying that he is going to become the great lord of the castle. Oh boy, now it's up to him to become the ruler of that city, is that right? It seems he doesn't have much choice. After all, the villagers have made their decision. From now on, that beautiful cartel and everyone there will follow his orders. And all he has to do is protect that place. So he grabs his mask, saying he can't do this kind of thing. But isn't he already doing it? He's just going to make it official, right? Everyone is in shock. Why can't he do it? But he doesn't have any excuse ready. He starts to say that people think he really did all this for them, and that's a mistake. He only did it for himself. But the goodbyes don't believe him and try to grab him while he says he's not a savior. They should find another fool in his place. Everyone is in shock. They thought that guy would be reliable and worthy of protecting everyone. But in his heart, he still harbors the resentment of being completely burned in the public square while all the villagers threw things at him. So he leaves from there. He stays outside the castle for a while, and suddenly the rain starts again. The girl appears saying that people want him to stay, but he knows that people are looking for someone strong to protect them. Even though he knows this, it's been almost a year since he's been there. Hasn't he formed any bonds with these people? He just tells her to shut up and move on. But as he is leaving, someone calls out to him. He looks back and realizes it's that child. She made pastries for him. She heard that he was embarking on a new journey. So she wanted to thank him. If he doesn't take them soon, these pastries will get all wet. His heart softens completely. He takes the pastries and thanks her. As she says that Mr. Shirou is the hero who helps everyone. Since she can't do anything for his safety, she will pray to the gods for his safety. As he thinks, really? The gods, huh? And he says he will pray for her safety too. Then he leaves, leaving memories in that child's mind. They continue walking and he starts looking at the bread. That city has been having good harvests. That's it. That's all there is for today. The work is very good. Maybe the title should have been changed. That way, it would promise what it actually delivers. Because I didn't see him seeking revenge there. Comment down below what you thought and which work you want on the channel. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for the next video.